We are live. Welcome back to Coffee with Crainer. This is episode 109. I'm your host, Lyndon Crane, and today I have Michael Piccioni from CanAm Currency Exchange here with us, the president and CEO, former senior healthcare economics consultant for United Health Group, graduated from the University of Windsor, completed a BCom, specializing in accounting and economics, and also completed a master's of business administration at Wayne State University. And today we're going to be talking all about what it's like being a currency exchange entrepreneur. Michael, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Every show, I start off with coffee. Do you drink coffee?
I do, mostly espresso.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's your go-to spot?
Oh, I'm not really a go-to for coffee kind of guy, but I would say if I was to go for coffee in Amherstburg, Caffeine & Co. I don't know if you've been there.
Yeah.
It's
plenty of times.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. I'm friends with the owners as well there.
Awesome.
It's just a really cool vibe. It's got great coffee, also great menu as well. So I love that place.
So you're an espresso guy.
I am an espresso guy, yeah.
Mostly, I imagine you'd make it at CanAm. It's more convenient for you.
Or at home, yeah.
Or at home.
So convenience,
Awesome.
Right?
Can you share with us how you started this currency exchange journey for you? How many years has it been?
6.5 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, what got me into currency exchanges, I worked in the States for over 20 years in finance. So I was exchanging actually at the train station for several years because their rates were really good.
Yeah.
However, it was a long drive for me, and I was driving like 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. Wasn't the most convenient. So I looked online for an online company that could do my transactions for me. So I found a company out of Vancouver that was able to do that for me. So I started doing it electronically. It was really convenient. I didn't have to go to the bank or to a currency exchange. Everything was done electronically.
Yeah.
So it took me 2 minutes instead of 45 minutes. So when I saw that and the ease of use, I was like, well, why don't I bring that technology to Windsor and provide that service to not only Windsor, but all across Canada as well. So I did, and I applied for banking. It's not an easy business to get into. Banks don't really want to help you succeed in the business because you are competing with them. But I was lucky to get a bank account with BMO, and yeah, here we are 7 years later.
So that technology was never in Windsor at the time?
No, there wasn't a lot across Canada at the time, believe it or not. Pretty surprising when you think about it.
Yeah.
But we were the first to implement that in Windsor. Now the train station also offers that service as well.
But 6 years ago, it
didn't exist. So yeah, our customers love it. I mean, not having to drive into the store, wait in line, just to do it from the convenience of your own home. Yeah. Or even when you're on vacation, you could be in Florida, wherever you may be, you could just book your trades online there.
It sounds like you have a passion for economics. Obviously.
I do. I love economics for sure. Yeah.
Things are constantly changing in Canada. They announced a rate hike today.
They did, yeah.
Saying inflation's on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for your business and the work that you're doing?
I mean, from a foreign exchange, that side of the business, it doesn't really affect us. When the rate goes one way or the other, if the US dollar goes up, more people are selling US dollars. If the US dollar goes down, more people are buying US dollars.
Yeah.
So for us, it doesn't really matter. We have both customers. We have a lot of people that are selling US. Most of our customers work in the US. We have about 5,000 customers that work in the US, either engineers or nurses, accountants as well, but mostly engineers and nurses. So that business is constantly steady. Obviously, some of our customers wait for the rate to get really good, and we'll book it then. We also have importing, exporting businesses that exchange with us. So a lot of them will wait till the rate gets better and then do larger trades. So for us, we just need to pay attention to what's happening when the rate announcements are happening, make sure that we're protected and we don't have too much exposure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the current state of the economy right now? And I guess how could people protect themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're living during extraordinary times, to say the least. Inflation at 40-year highs, the economy slowing down, real estate slowing down.
Yeah.
People are nervous. We had bank failures in the US. Even in Canada, the Canadian federal government froze people's bank accounts during COVID. So So people are nervous with their funds right now. They're nervous about the stock market. They're nervous about they're having their funds in banks with all these bank failures. So I tend to try to tell people to diversify, hedge their overall portfolio with precious metals, because that's usually what performs best during inflationary periods. Like in the 1970s, where we saw inflation like we do today, silver went up 41 times in that decade. Gold went up 25 times. So huge gains. Yeah. I think you're going to see something very similar in this decade. Over the next 5 years, I think you're going to see silver go up 20, 30 times, gold go up 5 times.
So now's the time to really get into precious metals.
For sure. It's the perfect storm. I mean, you have the uncertainty in the world. You have the war happening in the Ukraine. You got inflation at 40-year highs. You have the whole global economy slowing. You got the rumors of the central bank digital currencies coming into fruition over the next, my guess is you'll start seeing them in the next 12 months being implemented. So, I mean, I think right now is the perfect storm for precious metals. And historically speaking, it's still cheap. Silver's still 60% less than its price from 1980. In 1980, it was $50. Today it's 24. There's no other asset in the world that is half of its price from 1980. Just silver. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the biggest reason, it's manipulated by the banks to keep it suppressed, keep the price low.
Yeah.
Because silver is a really important commodity for our world. It's used in all electronics, all technology products. The 2 new use cases, electric cars and solar panels, which is going to cause a huge amount of growth in the silver demand, which is causing major shortages. Right now, we're seeing the worst shortages in the silver market in history. So, I mean, I think the shortages are just going to get worse and worse and worse as the months and years to come, as these new use cases for silver come into play.
And there's a number of services that CanAm provides, working with precious metals, day-to-day currency exchange. What's some more ways that you're helping people?
Yeah, I mean, number one, we're saving you money. I mean, on the foreign exchange, you're going to save 3% from your banks. So, when you work in the U.S. and you're making $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, you're going to be saving a few $1,000s every year. Yeah. If you're a business and you're doing millions of dollars a year, now you're going to be saving several $1,000s a year, maybe even over $10,000 you'll be saving over the course of a year. Now, on the precious metal side, what we provide is consultations. So a lot of people buying gold and silver are buying it for the first time. So they don't know a lot about it. They don't know what they should be buying, whether it's government minted versus private minted, or if they should be buying Royal Canadian Mint versus the US Mint. Should they be buying gold versus silver? So that's where we come in and we help you. We hold your hand through the process. We explain where the opportunities may be, what you should be buying, basically how to diversify your precious metals portfolio, same as a financial advisor would do with stocks and bonds.
And where did you learn all of this? Is this something you taught yourself, or was it
definitely self-taught?
School?
They don't teach you this in school.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that's hidden from the general public by design. They don't really want you to know how money works, because if people truly understood how our monetary system worked, there would be a revolution. Because our monetary system it's a debt-based economy. So the economy can only continue on as the debt continues to increase. So eventually all debt-based economies come crashing down, and you have to reset and come up with a whole new monetary system. So we're near the end stages of that. Okay, the US dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power since 1913, when the Federal Reserve was established. So eventually that's going to go to zero. All fiat currencies throughout history always go to zero, and they'll have to be reset and backed by something like gold and silver. That is real money. Gold and silver have been money for 5,000 years. The paper money that we have in our pockets is not money, that's currency. And currency loses value over time. So that's, yeah.
So you're constantly watching the latest trends and analyzing the market.
I've been studying the gold and silver market for over 10 years, every day. And I spend literally 2 to 3 hours every night researching what happened during the day. And right now is really what I've been expecting to happen for several years now is actually happening now. Everything's coming to fruition, which is, it's exciting and it's also scary, because we are entering a whole new monetary system. We are going to, that old system will collapse. How it will collapse, there's a million different scenarios that could occur. whether it's a cyber attack, the derivative bubble popping, the bond market collapsing. I mean, there's so many different a world war. There's so many scenarios that could cause the old financial system to collapse and a new system to start.
What is this new system that you think Canada is headed towards?
I think the whole world is going to be heading to central bank digital currencies, which is a scary proposition, but it's something that's definitely going to be occurring. Canada just recently sent out a survey to all the Canadian citizens, asking them questions about what their thoughts were on central bank digital currencies. The US has FedNow starting in July, which is a new payment platform that is going to be built on blockchain technology. So you'll be able to make payments through this new digital system. You got Europe announcing that they're going to be implementing a central bank digital currency, which will also have controls within that currency. So let's just say you don't pay your taxes. Okay, well, you're not going to be able to spend your money in your central bank digital currency. They'll freeze your account.
Okay.
Wow. Or you're only going to be able to purchase a certain amount of red meat. Maybe you only be able to travel once a year. They're going to put limitations within these central bank digital currencies because that's the main reason they want these. They want to implement control.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it's not for our best interest at all. But the people who are in power of the world, the central banks, they're the ones that want this new system because they want to go cashless, because it's much easier to control a population without cash. If they know what you're doing with your money, if they can control it, they may even force you to spend it within a year. After that year, it'll be deemed worthless. So there's so many different things that they can use to control, or you may not be able to buy groceries outside of a certain radius. You may have to stay within your certain 15-minute city, for example. So there's a lot of things that they can implement with these central bank digital currencies. Hopefully we have some pushback from the citizens of the country, and I personally will not engage in that system. I'm going to stay outside of that system. How you stay outside of that system? Gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, owning land. But a lot of people have all their assets set up in the stock market or in their banks. So I think over these next few years, it's really important to start moving some of your funds outside of the traditional banking system and into more secure places like in your own possession, such as gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies.
And does CanAm specialize in cryptocurrency transactions at all? Is that?
No, we don't. I mean, I'd like to, but our bank doesn't allow us to deal with cryptocurrencies. Precious metals.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah, hopefully in the future. I keep asking every year. Have you changed your stance on that yet? But right now, most of the banks are very anti-crypto, and that's probably going to stay that way for probably a good amount of time until we move to central bank digital currencies, because that's what happened in China after they implemented their central bank digital currency. 2 years later, just recently, a couple of weeks ago, they made buying cryptocurrencies legal again in China. So we could probably see something like that again, where it becomes a little more open to the general public.
No, it's interesting, this switch.
It's a big switch. We're living during really, really extraordinary times. I'm excited about it. I think a lot of people don't truly believe or understand how different this new world will be. The scary part is, and the reason I'm so passionate about owning gold and silver, is that the transition is going to be ugly. It's not just going to be a simple transition. There's likely going to be a collapse of the old system. So that's why I do believe people really, really need to take now as the opportunity to buy gold and silver in your possession at very good prices, in my opinion, right now, compared to what they're going to be in 5 to 10 years from now. So I think people really need to take their finances into their own hands, do your own research. Your financial advisor is not going to tell you to buy gold and silver. Your bank is not going to tell you to buy gold and silver. You're going to have to learn this on your own. You're just going to have to look at prior history, what happens when an old financial system collapses and you move into a new system. They always go back to gold. Gold and silver have always been money. So once a fiat currency system collapses, they always go back to gold. So we will eventually go back to gold. Central bank digital currencies will not be backed by gold, but I do believe those will fail as well, because that's still fiat, and that will collapse as well.
It's way above my my skill set and knowledge for sure, but it's good to see that you're an expert in the area, big time. And just going back to CanAm, you talked about the thousands of dollars you can save just on the exchange rate,
Sure.
Which is fantastic. What else do you believe CanAm? How do you set yourself apart
Sure.
from the banks, from other institutions that might be doing the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's service. I mean, I've always been about service. I'm lucky that over the past 6-7 years, I've been able to build a fantastic team.
Yeah.
Our staff is the best staff out there, in my opinion. We hear it every day. Our Google reviews are fantastic, but I get personal comments to me, people calling me, letting me know how great the service was at CanAm. We answer every single call that comes in, no matter what. So we like to be almost overstaffed. I don't want to ever miss a call. I don't like lineups. I don't like being lined up at the door. I want our service to be top notch. So even if you call, we'll talk to you for half an hour if you have questions. We're not in a rush. We want to answer your questions, make sure you understand how the process works. Especially precious metals, it's a much longer conversation because they don't really understand exactly what they're getting into. So we do offer free consultations as well. So you can set up a meeting with us, sit down for half hour, an hour, and we'll answer every question you may have regarding precious metals or currency exchange. A lot of business owners want to come in and talk to me and understand how it works. We also provide a lot of other services for businesses that our competition does not, such as forward contracts. So our business owners, they can lock in a rate today. If they like $1.35 US, which it is right now, they can lock it in for a year. Up to a year. So that helps mitigate their risk. So if their business is making money at $1.35 and they're happy with that, you can lock in a large chunk of that or the whole projected sales for the following year. Because again, business owners shouldn't be in the business of currency exchange or paying attention to the markets. They should be focused on their business. The rate should be irrelevant to them. But you'd be surprised. A lot of business owners take a lot of risk on their foreign exchange, and we help mitigate that risk, and we'll sit down with them and explain to them how we can reduce their risk and exposure to FX.
And so 6 years ago, you were not a business owner. This is your first business.
No, right? I've actually I owned a bar downtown Windsor for about 5 years. It was called The Whiskey, corner of Olette University. So that was a fun experience. Happy to be out of it though, because I'm a lot older now, so it's not as easy for me to operate.
You're not rocking in the DJ booth? Or,
no, I'm done with that. My wife kind of forced me to get out of that bar when we got married, which she did me a favor. But it was fun. I met a lot of good people. I've always been entrepreneurial. Even at the age of like 10, I was selling golf balls and pop and water on the golf courses. Because I grew up on a golf course. So I was entrepreneurial from a young age, and it's always something I've really wanted to do, is own my own business. I was lucky enough to have a good job, and I was able to start this business while I was working for somebody else.
Wow.
So that is what I would recommend people looking to get into business for themselves. You don't have to leave your job right away. It's called a side hustle, right? I think a lot of us have a side hustle.
For sure.
And I really think everybody should really try to find something on the side. And it's not that I don't like working for others. I just think for you to achieve peak success, working for yourself, I believe is the best way to do that.
Yeah, it's fascinating though, just to see how you're running your business, going from working at United Health and having a bar business downtown, but this is completely different. And the way you're running it is just second to none. So
I appreciate that.
It's definitely inspiring to see how it's growing and how you're leading that.
I appreciate
because being a business owner is extremely tough.
It is. And the other thing people need to realize is, I mean, I've changed businesses many times. I've changed careers many times. I also became a financial advisor and did that for a while. So, I mean, people at the age of 20 feel like they're going to know exactly what they're going to be doing the rest of their lives. I didn't start CanAm till I was over 40 years old. So you're really not, at the age of 20, you're not in a position to know even what you like, to be honest with you. You may have an idea, but life changes and things change. So, I mean, I think people should really not be too hard on themselves at a young age. Just go through the motions, find out what you like doing, and try to go down that path and try to figure out a way you can operate a business on your own, doing something you like. I think that has always been my goal, to try to find a business that I can really sink my teeth into. And I got really lucky with CanAm currency, especially on the precious metal side. It's really something I'm passionate about. So it's nice to be able to go to work every day, sit down.
Love.
It's great. I mean, it's to be able to sit down with people and help them invest into precious metals where I know it's going to be a great investment, or I hope anyway. Nobody knows. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great investment for them. So it's really a good feeling to be able to help people save money or invest and do well. So
absolutely. Yeah. And my final question I'll ask is, what's next for CanAm?
We're definitely looking at expanding, both locally and internationally. So we are in the process of launching a precious metals online store.
Wow.
We'll be servicing Canada and the United States.
Amazing.
We're also in the process of opening a currency exchange, not a physical store, but a satellite online store in the United States, which has been a lot harder than I expected.
I can imagine the red tape.
The regulations, the banking part is really the difficult thing. And we just keep getting denied. But you got to just keep going, just keep applying and plugging away.
Yeah.
We're also looking at opening some more stores in Windsor as well, maybe Leamington, Tecumseh. We're still in the early stages. It's not easy to find good commercial property right now. Everything seems to be taken up.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of opportunity in the area, us being a border town. It's an exciting time.
Perfect spot.
It really is. I mean, it's surprising that there hasn't been more competition in this market over the years. But I can see why now. It's really difficult to get into. It's really cash intensive as well to start out. So I mean, we've been lucky. Obviously, having a bank account is the most important part about this business. You can't operate it without it. But we've been lucky so far, and it's been a lot of fun the last few years.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to see the growth and all the great work that you're doing to help people make smart investments, for sure. So, Michael, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Those that are watching, you can watch the full episode on coffeewithcrainer.com.